how much live wrestling should you get in practice? We like an hour. I feel like if the college guys can get 30 minutes to 45 minutes, some maybe even more. I know when I wrestled Oklahoma State years ago, it was always about 30 or 40 minutes. Very intense. The Pee Wee kids, they can wrestle an hour. The high school kids, they can wrestle an hour as well. So get about 4 partners, go 15 minutes each, or 3 partners, 20 minutes, and get tons of live wrestling, because this is the problem. You go to a tournament and you sit there for 15 hours, and your youth kids get 3-minute matches. They pin someone, and they literally wrestle, 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Or maybe they pin 2 kids. They might get out of there, they might wrestle 4 minutes and get 3 matches. High school kids, same way, really. You go to a dual meet, very exciting, obviously. I like dual meets too. But, your son or daughter wrestles 6 minutes and you're there, hours. Plus just the expense. You can't go to a tournament with a $25 entry fee. Pay for you, your wife and husband, maybe one of your other kids to get into the door, sit there for 15 hours, hit the concession stand a few times, and you're dropping $80-$90. That's why some people talk about, academies are expensive. And I'm sure some are, but generally it's $100 for a month, right? You're spending $100 on one weekend for 4 minutes of wrestling, or for 12 minutes of high school wrestling. And you're sitting in the bleachers for 18 hours or 15 hours plus all the drive time. It's an 18-hour day sometimes. We have something called the competition camps, where we get a lot of competition. They're overnight 2-day camps, 5 meals. You stay at my facility here in St. Louis. Your kids get 40 matches worth of live plus 5.5 hours of drill time. It's like $85 a day, right? $175. That includes meal. It's 24/7, right? I don't know, it's a few bucks an hour is what it is. And you hire a babysitter, they're going to charge more than $5 or $6 an hour, obviously. And they're going to feed the kids with food that you bought. You're paying for the electricity. We're doing all of that. So really, if you think about it, academy's cheap. Camps are cheap. It's these tournaments that are outrageously expensive, and it's only a $25 entry fee or less. But there's no wrestling involved. When you look at the $80 you spend for your family to go watch your high school son wrestle 12 minutes, I mean, golly, it just, you multiply that over 5 or 10 years, and you wonder why, when the smoke settles, your kids are not getting these college wrestling scholarship offers, are not competing at the national level. It's because these kids who are like drinking from a fire hose, the ones that are getting a lot of live wrestling in their high school or youth practices, or, obviously the kids that come to our programs are getting a lot of live wrestling. We like 2.5-hour practices, an hour of drill time, hour and a half of drill time, and an hour of live wrestling. We also have our scrimmages, Friday night fights. You come in for an hour and a half. It's an hour and 15 minutes of live wrestling, minus 15 minutes of warm up. And guess what? Kids are going to get, about 10 matches worth of live. Here they go. Get out of there. Those are my buddies. Ty just rolled down. But the bottom line is this. You come into our gym for an hour and a half, and your kids wrestle 3-man groups for an hour and 15 minutes. They're going to be on the mat about 50 to 55 minutes. The average match is 5 minutes. They're getting 10 or 12 matches worth of live wrestling in an evening. And you don't have to spend $80. Well, if you go out to dinner after this competition, I mean, there's another $130. You can spend $250 on 6 minutes of wrestling. If you think about it, you've already been doing it. You national tournament people, which national tournaments are important, a few a year, but you don't need to go to all of them. Holy cow, you'll spend $700 and your kids may get 5 matches. They get to wrestle 19 minutes for $700. So I would encourage you to rethink the amount of live wrestling you're doing in your practices. It should be an hour. Your thinking patterns as far as camps are expensive, the tournaments are expensive, and maybe some of these even dual events. You go to the dual team events; those are very cool. But your son or daughter wrestles a dual meet, then you sit there for 3 hours, and then there's a break. Then they warm up. They wrestle another dual meet. Same way with the dual meet camps, right? You get 80 matches worth of live at our 5-day camp. He's, oh no, I'm going to a team camp. They get 20 matches. 20 matches is nothing. Because after your kids wrestled the first match, they got to sit there and watch other 15 varsity kids wrestle their match. They're bored. They're playing on their iPhone. That's sitting on the bench time. You're better off going to a technique camp that has an hour and 15 minutes of live wrestling every night. They'll get about 28 hours of drill time, plus 80 matches worth of live, right? And it's just more productive. So I would encourage you to think about seeking out these live wrestling opportunities for your kids and practice, and even outside, and skip some tournaments. You don't need to go to the O'Fallon Shuffle and spend $80 and 15 hours of your time to watch your high school kid wrestle 6 minutes or 12 minutes. It's a complete waste of time. Maybe you can go to maybe the local university has a live wrestling day, you know, or maybe like our Friday night fights. You slide in, scrap, get out, and you're home. You know, you're home by 8:45 at night, and your kid's got 12-minute matches worth of live, and you were only gone for 2.5 hours and spent $15. So there's some insight there, and also some things that we offer that you might be interested in. You can check us out at purlerwrestling.com. But make sure your kids are getting tons of live wrestling, because that's how they develop the feel of wrestling. Okay? Live wrestling is not a special treat. Oh, if you do good today, you get to live wrestle. No. You're going to live wrestle no matter what for an hour, because that's what we do in the state tournament. We don't drill in the state tournament. We wrestle live. Good luck to you guys.